Mark, has it been a bit of a sticky week?
It's always not nice when you don't win games. Unfortunately, it was a cup game that everyone just expected us to win. We didn't. We've had to have a look at ourselves. We've had to dust ourselves down and put ourselves in the right frame of mind to go again. And we've done that. The boys have been, their attitude's been good. All desperately disappointed. All know that Saturday, particularly first half, wasn't good enough. But you can only you've got to dig yourself out of it and go again.
It must feel a long time since it's been like this. Probably back as far as what, 2010, 11 perhaps.
Absolutely.
That kind of time when it was a bit of a struggle in the second half.
Absolutely. But we're 3 games unbeaten in the league. What we've got to do now is we've got to forget about FA Cup, forget about any run that we've had over the last. We've been fortunate as a club and as a group of players and a staff to have gone to Tottenham, had Everton at home, been at West Ham already this season, got to the third round where the club have financially benefited. We don't budget for it, but we also understand that it is important. We've denied the club that chance this year, but for the last 2 years it's been unbudgeted and a bonus. We've just got to get on without it. There's no point crying over spilt milk, as they say, and quibbling about it. It's happened. We're out. We've got 31 games to concentrate on our league form.
Does that mean difficulty over reinforcements and funds for reinforcements?
I imagine it does, but that's life. We've got to get on with it. There's no, like I said before, there's no point crying about it and moaning about it. It just probably doesn't mean we'll be able to bring in, as we'd like.
In terms of yourself, have you found yourself analysing stuff in the middle of the night or waking up concerned about things?
Concerned, of course I'm concerned, but not waking up in the middle of the night and not sleeping. We're working hard. We're working extremely hard, as we've done for the last 4 years, to do things here. It's not for the lack of effort or the lack of work, right, that things aren't going for us. It's just we've made mistakes on the pitch. We've conceded stupid goals. I can't remember the last decent goal anyone scored against us. In terms of, sometimes you hold your hands up and just say, yeah, great goal and thoroughly deserved. We've contributed to so many of the goals that we've conceded. So we've just got to keep working on putting that right and putting the boys in a positive frame of mind. And I have no doubt that this group is more than capable. I think we started to show that, and what we can't do is let Saturday slip up, affect that.
So in other words, just to pick up on the point about the reinforcements, it's continual shuffling of the group you have until you can drop on something that really works for you.
I think we're beginning to, like I said before. Saturday wasn't particularly good, but we had a couple of players out. I don't think there's too much wrong with the way we've played of late. I really don't. I think the Northampton performance, the York one to an extent, the Morecambe one, even Rochdale. Until we committed footballing suicide in the last 10 minutes, we were as good as them. So we're not far away, and it's just being positive for the players, cutting out mistakes, and just. It's almost a fine line between hammering home the importance of concentrating and performing, but also finding that balance of letting them play and just making them a little bit more relaxed. And that's the fine line that we're at the minute. We've just got to just keep working at finding the right way.
How big a blow is it to lose David Kevin?
Listen, Dave was good around the place, but like I said, it happens, and it just means that me and Neil will just get back to what we've always done for the last 8 years, minus the 2 months that Dave's been here, and we just do what we're good at. And it was great to have another voice. It was great for us all, but unfortunately Dave's moved on, and we wish him well.
You were running lean with just the two of you, so have an extra pair of hands surely was out.
Yeah, but that's listen. Sometimes you got to just go with what you've got, and I'm, like I said, I was more than happy. I've been more than happy for 8 years with me and Neil. I just felt Dave's eyes. He was only here a couple of days a week, but it was certainly a help for us, and it's give us a boost. So we feel even more ready for it now.
Did you watch Wycombe at Swindon on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
Swindon are a good side. We didn't see too much attacking intent from Wycombe in that game in particular because Wycombe had a lot of the ball. Sorry, Swindon had a lot of the ball. But we saw, I saw the shape. I saw things they've done. I hadn't watched before anyway, so we knew a bit about them. I've seen a couple of games that they've played, but it's always good to see them live. They made 3 or 4 changes from the team from Saturday, so they're at home. They've been on a decent little run, but it'll be a decent game of football. 2 teams who play a diamond as well, so it'll be which diamond. If we play the same, is which diamonds but works the best.
Which one shines, perhaps?
Absolutely.
You have David Noble back.
We do.
How far is Jermaine away?
Got a chance for the weekend. We're just probably not as much of a chance as we really like. I think we've taken the decision that he's probably not going to be involved, and we're just going to. Wes wants just to make sure we get some real strength work into those hamstrings, and making sure he's ready for the 2 games the following week, the Saturday, Tuesday. So I think Jermaine's not quite comfortable with it. So as much as I would love him to be available, I think realistically it's probably, unless some strange things happened overnight, I think the work that he's been putting in over the last couple of weeks will benefit him massively, but probably next week, unfortunately.
And in terms of looking ahead, obviously, as you say, it's just the league season to go.
Yeah.
Do you look very short term now, almost not even match to match, but actually day to day, session to session, to try and get things back where you want?
The only thing that can change that, the mood around the training ground hasn't been any different, for 3 years since after the first 6 months that we got here. That's not changed. Even now, the spirit's good amongst the players. The groups work hard at what we put out. We've just been making stupid mistakes. We've kept 20 clean sheets last year, and we've kept 2 this year, and conceded some pretty horrendous goals, really. And we can catalogue them. They can slip off the tongue. There's been that many. We just need to cut the mistakes out and try and continue playing. I think we found a way that suits the group we've got without any really recognised wide players without Jermaine. Ashley's not been as productive as we would have liked, and he would say the same thing, I'm sure. He for whatever reason, it hasn't been a good start for him back at this club, and we've got to make sure that we work hard with him to make sure that we give him a chance. Zakovica, he can play out in a wider position, but I just think with the strikers that we've got and the midfield players that we've got, I think we're pretty comfortable. We're having a pass, which we all want. We don't want to just be hoofing it up the pitch. That's not how we want to do things. And I think things are starting to come together. Bar last Saturday, which is, it's disappointing. Of course it is, and it was disappointing Saturday, and it still hurts now. But like I said before, we can't do anything about what's gone on.
Just lastly, fans forum tonight. Fans love asking about sideways things like price of pies and etc. etc. But would you expect some pretty serious football questions tonight?
Of course I would. Yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's a fans forum asking me what they want about football matters, and I'll be happy to address anything that they. I've got nothing to hide. I'm confident that Neil and I can get the place going again. That we've done it for the last 3.5 years, 4 years, and we'll continue to do the same again. I understand the pressures of, expectation and stuff like that, but I don't think we're too far away, to be fair.
Right, Kip.
Mark, I know you didn't plan this to be a rebuilding season, but when you come close to success and you lose a couple of better players, do you think that it's inevitable when you haven't got massive amounts of money that you're going to have seasons where things you sort of stabilising?
I think I said to you, John, at the end of last season, this season we've got to make sure we don't have I said it at Torquay, like the one they had last year. I knew it was going to be tough, but I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's one that we can't turn around. I don't think it's one that we can't go on a little run and, you know, we've got set targets that we'll talk about as a group that we've already started talking about. Particularly now the cup game's gone, and we've got to knuckle down and the players have got to just cut out the mistakes and just eradicate those. And we've already talked to, you know, what ifs, but what ifs don't matter. What ifs mean absolutely zero. It's about doing it, and we deal in reality here. You know, our position isn't where we want to be, but we have no doubt that we can turn that around.
Yeah, one of the things that a lot of people have been commenting on is players playing out of position. And I know there's been certain times we've had injuries or suspensions you've had to, but do you think you've experimented and learnt things that you're not going to do again with in terms of moving people around?
There's not too many people been playing out positions for me. Like,
well, Brian Barrett at right back. I mean,
he's played right back 50 times in his career. It wasn't an experiment. It just, for the clearance, he made a bit of a hash of a clearance before the goal, which is obviously not ideal. But Craig, after what game was it? York last Saturday. Craig was disappointed that I hadn't considered him to play right back. We worked on the training ground in a week, and he'd been excellent. And like I said, he said to me he's played over 50 games at right back in his career, so that's not playing someone out of position. If you look at him, he kicks more balls with his right foot than he does with his left foot. He's equally decent with both. Unfortunately, he made a bit of a mistake for the clearance for the goal, and I suppose it highlighted that. But if you watch him, he plays with both feet.
Yeah, Sido can play at left back, but that's not is obviously his best position. He's spent a bit of time playing there this season. It just seems like you've had to shuffle people around.
We've been conceding goals, John, that we've not been used to conceding. You know, a ridiculous amount of goals have just been basic errors, and you just try and find the right formula all the time. Sometimes you'll give it another go. Sometimes you'll stick with it. Sometimes you think you'll change it around and do something a little bit different for whatever reason, but it's always for the right reason.
Yeah, and Sam Dearens obviously is a centre midfielder, but do you think that deeper role? Do you think he can do that? You know, do you think he's capable of playing that?
I think he can definitely do that, but I wanted him in there to make us pass the ball. I wanted him in. I thought he did a decent enough job, but unfortunately, at the top end of the pitch, particularly first half, and at the bottom end of the two centre backs, we were caught short in terms of what we delivered. And I thought Sam probed and picked the ball up, and he did what I asked of him in terms of getting on it and trying to make us play, but we didn't have the forward thrust that we wanted. We didn't have the movement from the three strikers that we'd worked on and had been anticipating, but that sometimes happens, and you know, I don't see that. I've got a squad of players that people can play, you know, in a number of positions. That's what we look for all the time.
It's quite unusual that you had those three strikers on the pitch and you didn't score, because they've been scoring, but you've created chances. Northampton have created a lot, and is that the most promising thing for you? Because if you're not creating any, that's probably even more worrying.
That's why I'm not worried. That I know we'll score goals. I know we didn't Saturday, but you know, Jamie Curriton had two great chances that he knows that he's spoken to the boys about and to me about, that he knows he should have taken or could have taken. But listen, we don't criticise people for missing chances, because that's the hardest part. But the movement, you know, first half wasn't there. The willingness to just go behind a couple of times and stretch Tamworth wasn't there. And we've seen these on the DVD that we've had a look at, and the boys have spotted it for themselves and know what we need to do and carry on doing that we have been doing in the last few league games.
Yeah. What do you think the chances are of being able to bring somebody in? Do you think is it a possibility?
Not at the moment. I think I've got to get out before I can get anything in.
Yeah.
We've made inquiries. I have put a couple of things, but I haven't been able to do anything because we didn't get through against Tamworth, unfortunately.
Yeah. So have you got specific people you'd like to bring in if the money becomes available?
I've got a few people. You know, ideally, I'd like to bring a couple in. You know, we're light. We're probably a little bit light, but we've got what we've got, and we've got to deal with it. You know, it's not a problem. they want me to. The board, the chairman wants me to challenge him with bringing players in, and can I get this? But the message coming back was that I've got to get something out, and I've got to make sure that what I get out is right, is beneficial as well to me. There's no point me getting X player out and covering X amount of his wages and bringing in a young lad who I'm potentially looking at. It's got to be right for me, and unfortunately we haven't been able to do anything over the last couple of days, but we have been trying, and like I said, we'll continue to do so for the right thing for the football club. We work the club work on a budget. Sometimes you have to ask, and we do. I asked a couple yesterday, and unfortunately nothing's happened as we speak. But I say we'll continue to work hard at whatever we have to do to turn it around, both on and off the pitch.
Yeah, just finally, fans are obviously entitled to their opinions, but
Yeah.
you've had a lot of good times over the last couple of years. And do you feel like you've almost earned a bit of a chance to a bit of breathing space to show you can turn it around? Because there's been a lot more good times than bad times since you came in, but obviously they are frustrated.
Nobody more frustrated than me, John. Nobody more frustrated than me. And of course they have their voice and they have their opinions. That's fine. I'm the manager until somebody tells me any different, and I'll continue to work like I've worked tirelessly for the last 4 years to try and get the place going. At the moment, things are just going against us, in areas that are just hurting us, and we'll just do everything we can to put that right.
Yeah, but you need them through thick and thin, don't you?
Of course
you need
you
them
do.
even more now, don't you?
Of course. I've always said that, John. When we've been playing well, even when things have been going well, we need to stick together. And if I say that now, people might think that it's a rally cry, for me, but it's not. Get behind the boys because they need you. We all need you. We all need to stick together.
Yep. Cheers, Mark.